Are you looking to get involved in simulator racing? Here at Digital-Motorsports.com, we're a one-stop shop for all your sim racing needs, supplying wheels, pedals, shifters, handbrakes, monitors, virtual reality headsets, seats, chassis, fully built sim solutions and custom built PCs from all the top brands that you know and love. To find out more, visit Digital-Motorsports.com.
Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the Digital-Motorsports.com Indy Pro 2000 Cup, sponsored by Next Level Racing, Driver 61 and iRacing. Today's round takes us to the Virginia International Raceway here, where the skies look pretty much perfect, just a couple of clouds in the skies, and of course a fantastic track. It's not just me in the commentary box, I am of course joined by the lovely Mr. Rob King. Rob, we're here in Virginia. It's a track I've never been to. Welcome along to it. How are you doing tonight?
I'm very good, very good. Good to be back. I've never been to the track physically before myself either. I have raced here in a previous championship online, probably 18 months ago. And the one thing I can tell you is that it is a fantastic circuit to drive. Really fun, really fast, really flowing, with some nice kind of technical bits as well. And it's a place I want to go to in real life. It just looks amazing. You'll see as the cars are going around the track. There are these buildings there. We're looking at one right now. They're actually lodgings, so you can rent apartments. And when we say apartments, they're not apartments like you might have over here. They're kitted out with garages and all kinds of cool stuff. So it's like an absolute motorsport mecca. And I think it's on the bucket list of places to go.
Absolutely. And of course, this stream, we do have a couple of sponsors with us and a couple of prizes as well. Wonder if we can get those quickly squeezed in, Rob, before we start tonight's proceedings.
Absolutely. Primary sponsor, we need to mention Next Level Racing. And the main thing that you guys are going to want to know about that is that you can win one of two simulator rigs, two Next Level Racing sim rigs, and all you need to do is go check out the link in the comment section in the description below this video. Click on the link, enter your name and email, and you could be in with a chance to win one of these two Next Level Racing rigs. The winner is going to be announced the day after the championship finishes, and I've forgotten what date that is, but it's after the last round anyway. Of course, Driver 61, new section on the Digital-Motorsports.com website, dedicated to driver training, driver coaching, specifically for sim racing. So do go and check that out. Driver 61, I'm sure a lot of you will know, and I've seen plenty of Scott Mansell's videos. They're fantastic. So a lot of the stuff that Scott does with real world race drivers translates directly into sim racing as well. So go check it out, get yourself some coaching, make yourself go faster.
Fantastic stuff. And just coming back to the track then, obviously I've said before that it's not a track I've been to before. So what can I expect tonight? What can the drivers expect tonight, Rob?
You kind of caught me on the hop here. It's the memory banks are not that great. I don't know. It's quite tight in places in terms of width of the circuit is not particularly wide in certain areas. Fast and flowing. You've got some big break areas. You've got some long straights, so there's going to be slipstreaming. So you've got a kind of a nice, we're looking at it in the background here, really flowy, twisty section. Probably going to be line of stern through a lot of that stuff. But then you do have as I mentioned, a couple of big, heavy braking zones, which probably going to be fairly good for slipstreaming. Sorry, overtaking in the slipstream, and then some plenty of good opportunities on the brakes going into those tight hairpins.
Absolutely, and from the looks of it, it just looks like a free-flowing circuit here. Hopefully we're not too far away from some racing action here tonight. The drivers have already had their heat race, so we have the feature race coming up, and I'm looking forward to it because the track itself looks absolutely fantastic. And as you say, you can basically stay here for as long as you like with the hotels not too far away. I'm already liking this place.
Yeah, it looks like certainly an exciting place to go, and they do all kinds of track days and driver training, and you can go and hire single seaters and all that kind of stuff there as well. So yeah, definitely on the bucket list. I don't know about you, Karen, but I have lost my stream right now, so I don't know if that's the same for yourself. But in the meantime, let's just have a quick recap. I think I don't know if you can see as well, but race 1 winner, I think, was Naveed Hussain, who is also a championship leader. And we've got our stream back, so that's good. Rory O'Shea was in second in the heat race, and James Clark, I believe, was third. And I do believe that those 3 are our top 3 in the terms of the championship as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Naveed Hussain is topping the championship standings at this moment, but of course, a lot can happen in the coming weeks. Of course, we've got this round and 2 rounds afterwards. Next, we go to Watkins Glen in 2 weeks' time, so don't forget about that one. In the meantime, there is your grid for tonight's feature race. You've got Colby James at the top of the standings, Johnny McMullen in second, Ronan Hederman in third place with Nathan Healy fourth, Dermot Tomey in fifth place, Shane Connolly sixth, with Rob O'Neill in 7th place, Dave Collier in 8th, Joao Montero in 9th, and Patrick McKenna there rounding out the top 10. Harry McGovern and James Clark take up the 6th row of the grid. Hopefully, we are not too far away from tonight's racing here in the feature race for the Digital-Motorsports.com Indy Pro 2000 Cup. This is the Pro-Am series. And obviously, the drivers here will be looking to try and get away from the lights here. It's always a tricky start here in the feature race. There is reverse grids involved, so that's why it looks a little bit hectic. Probably more hectic than the drivers would like you to see. However, at the moment, they're all getting ready to go. And here we are then. It is 5 red lights. We're underway in Virginia. What are the starts like? It's a great start from James then as we head our way now down towards the first series of corners. And the top 3 have simply left the others behind then. Colby James just about holding on to the lead, but McMullen is trying to challenge that then in towards the first braking zone as they make their way through. But that's McMullen off. He was leading the race and now he's off the circuit completely. Onto the grass he went and now he's all the way down the order. Hopefully he can rejoin with 0 damage. I mean, the track and the grass on the outside is very much far away from the wall, so he should be able to rejoin onto the track there. So unfortunate. He had a great start there challenging for the lead, but that's allowed Hederman to get up to 2nd place. Connolly now into 3rd, O'Neill in 4th, Toomey there in 5th place with Healy in 6th, McKenna 7th, Collier in 8th, O'Shea in 9th, and McGovern there rounding out the top 10. But a great start from Colby James. He leads the feature race and we've a long way to go though. Rob, it was a great start from James there.
Yeah, but such a shame. I was just about to say, really keen to see how Johnny McMullen's going to get on. Extremely experienced Formula Ford racer in real life. But yeah, he lasted a corner. Possibly no fault of his own. We'll have to see what was involved in that incident. I'm sure the clerk of the course is going to be busy looking at the replays after the race of that one. But we've had a change of position up at the front as well. Sergei Grabon takes 1st place away from Naveed Hussain, I believe, at the moment.
They're hugely damaged cars in the pit lane there. I think Colby James is still our race leader, but it could be Grabon and Hussain retiring from this race. You saw the amount of damage that was to both cars there. So that is Hussain, who before tonight's sprint race, or heat race I should say, was leading the championship. He's now out of the feature race, so his championship lead could be brought well down. On board now with Ronan Hederman as they make their way past the start-finish line. This is where hopefully the timing screen catches up with itself, and it does now. Colby James leads the way from Hederman in 2nd place there, and O'Neill in 3rd. Hederman looking down to the inside here as we head in towards the horseshoe, but nowhere for him to go there. He's not quite close enough. Connolly locking up in towards the horseshoe, and there's contact between Connolly and I think that was possibly McKenna there, the contact between the two of them. And, well, he just sent that car flying onto 2 wheels there. Colby James has made a mess there out of turn 3, I believe that is. And now into the left hook. Hederman now takes the lead, takes advantage of James's mistake. And it is now Ronan Hederman who leads the race then. O'Neill behind. He's 2.1 behind James. So he's about 2.5 seconds off the leader at the moment. These two will just be wanting to keep their heads down and try and get away. But yeah, bizarre there. That car went on 2 wheels there, so hopefully there's not too much damage to it.
Hopefully not. That's fantastic stuff. So great to see Ronan at the front of the grid. The VRA racing team are going to be in his ear, shouting and screaming, no doubt. So this, if Ronan manages to stick at the front of this pack, it's going to be a hugely popular win. I don't think Ronan's had a race win yet. I might be corrected on that one, but I don't think so. And he's long overdue on. He's extremely quick, really quick in the drift car as well, incidentally.
Absolutely, and the temperature is hot here at the Virginia Raceway. I mean, honestly, the start has been probably the cleanest we've seen of all the feature races so far, so that was great to see. But yeah, an early mistake there from one of the drivers. Just said he was getting a great start and then puts it onto the grass. Contact between two cars going into turn one there. So that's hopefully not going to be too damaging to the car there. But we're seeing so far the top two absolutely running away with it at the moment. And yeah, the temperature at this circuit is hot, and certainly the driver tempers may be warming up slightly as we head into this race then. Hederman still leads the way, James in second, O'Neill now in third place, O'Shea in fourth. He's just set the fastest lap of the race then. I think that's McGovern in fifth, Joao Montero in sixth with McKenna seventh. Shine there is in eighth place. Healy ninth and Connolly rounding out the top 10. So Hederman here not getting away from James just yet in this one.
Oh, interesting to see Harry McGovern as well. He's 6 places he's made, I think, so not quite as many as Rory O'Shea in front of him, but he's one to watch. Relatively new to sim racing. He's come up through the Ginetta Junior ranks here in Ireland. I think word on the street was he might be going for a Seat Super Cup drive this year, but with things that have slowed things down with the whole COVID-19 job, we'll have to wait and see what he's going to end up in later on in the year. But yeah, certainly one to watch. His pace is getting quicker by the race meeting.
Absolutely, he's currently in fifth place and he's looking, oh, that's Montero onto the grass. He's gone straight on there, over the grass he goes, and he's just about kept that in a straight line. And yeah, he just looked like he dipped a wheel onto that grass there, and he's come back to the pit lane. So is that a retirement? I wonder. Here's a battle here between O'Neill and O'Shea then as we make our way through over the crest here. And that is O'Shea who's got the move done on O'Neill. Great move there from O'Shea. He's now up to fourth place.
Okay, and how big is that gap? I'm just trying to look at the gap between Hederman and Colby James. It's just half a second, isn't it? So has he knocked second and a half out of that gap in the last couple of laps while we've been talking away? So yeah, the pressure's going to be mounting in the VRA racing cockpit there.
Absolutely, O'Shea another fastest lap of the race, 42.6 then from O'Shea, who's currently in third place. You'd think then he's got the pace to go on and win this race, but he's got to keep his composure. We've seen lots of drivers have the pace early on in races, and that is Joao Montero in the pit lane, and that looks like he retired or went to the pit lane out on track. So, oh, we got Hederman off. We've got Hederman off at the first corner, and he's gone straight into the wall. That's the front left wheel off, and that is unfortunately the end of his day. He went onto the grass through the horseshoe, and well, there's absolutely nothing he can do. You get onto the grass on this circuit and pretty much on this game, and you're just heading straight for the wall. So unfortunate for Hederman there. Let's see what we're seeing here. Colby James, it looks like, as we make our no, there is Hederman.
Yeah, understeered off. I was wondering did he get any contact or not, but that's unfortunate. Just driver error by the looks of things.
Yeah, and speaking of driver errors, we've got Colby James who found himself onto the grass there. Now O'Shea, in a matter of half a lap, now finds himself in the lead of this race. He's already shown he's got the pace, but Colby James is not going to let that one go lying down. O'Neill quickly onto him, and as you said before, McGovern, who was hoping for a good result, he's drawn himself right into this battle now for the lead of the race. As long as the top three keep battling, he's got a great chance of closing that gap there. I think there's a car in there that's actually a lap down, so that's why you're seeing the 4 cars go through. I'm trying to work out who it is that's the back marker in that pack, but hopefully the blue flags will be out for him very, very soon. But O'Shea is your race leader, then Colby James in second, O'Neill is in third place as they start the 5th lap of this race, then heading down towards the horseshoe, in towards turn 1. And if we can get a lap here where all the drivers can calm down a little bit, keep it on the black stuff, that's where you need to be. But you see O'Shea and James have kept it relatively clean so far, but O'Shea has had a fantastic start. You can see there, up 13 places from his starting position. He really has got the pace today, and he's kept his head down. He hasn't made many mistakes so far, cue the commentator curse, but now he'll be hoping to try and drive away with this one.
I noticed as well, just looking back down the pack a bit, we've got Johnny McMullen back up to 11th place, so he's coming back through the field, as is Naveed Hussain, who was right up at the front there. He's in 13th, so only at 1/3 race distance, so they'd still have a chance to get into the top 10, and I think a podium might be a stretch too far, but still a good point scoring potential for those guys who were, or we were expecting to be right at the front, but for whatever reason managed to knock themselves or get knocked out of the out of contention in the race. So going to be interesting towards the final stages of the race. I don't think tyres or fuel or anything are really going to come into the equation. This one is not long enough, but certainly concentration and kind of brain fade are going to be the things that come into play, I think, more than tyre fade or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the problem is that you've got those that grass on the outside. It's actually much narrower than it looks out there. It's so easy to make that mistake. And obviously it's a long lap around here, so you've got to be careful about that as well. We've still got just over 10 laps to go of this race here at Virginia International Raceway, where the temperature is absolutely scorching out here. I wonder if it's having an effect on the drivers at the moment, because we have seen a couple of those mistakes so far in this race, and hopefully we won't. Hopefully the drivers will iron that out as the race goes through. But there you can see O'Neill really on the back of Colby James, and O'Shea, like I said, he's just kept his head down and he's absolutely running away with this one. He's now 3.6 ahead in this race, and that's been a common theme for some of these races, where one of the drivers will get to the head of the field and then absolutely run away with it.
Yeah, I was just looking at something else while you were talking. Caught me on the hop there, Karen. What was I going to say? Yeah, we were talking about heat and things like that. So, yeah, it's hot on the virtual track, but it's also very, when you're sat in a sim rig, you don't have any airflow, of course, so it can get extremely hot. And you often hear in the drivers' Discord channel that they're absolutely covered in sweat at the end of a race. It's extremely warm. It's extremely physical in a lot of instances. Drivers using force feedback wheels with really high torque, and it is physical. You do get off these rigs, you're worn out, you're mentally drained, and you're absolutely pumping sweat. So it is. It sounds.
Sorry to cross you there, Rob, but
Sorry,
we've got
go
a
ahead.
move there. That was Colby James and Rob O'Neill there battling away, but James has just about held on to second place, but that's allowed McGovern to try and close in once again for this battle for second place. Make their way through. If Rob can hold on to third place, this would be an absolutely fantastic result for him. But Harry McGovern is not going to make that easy whatsoever. And you can see in O'Neill's mirrors, he's got a shine of purple there as he goes defensive, does O'Neill in towards turn one, riding on board now with McGovern as we make our way through the horseshoe. And look at this, he's right on the back of O'Neill here. He's got a long time to hold back Harry McGovern here, but at the moment he's doing a good job. He also wants to try and attack Colby James ahead of him, and it's just so enticing, that second place. He's in that weird position where he wants to attack for the higher position of second place, but he's also got to be careful about the driver behind him who will be challenging him for that third place. I mean, where does his priorities lie, Rob?
Tricky one, and they've got plenty of time left. They're only coming up to half distance, but as you're saying, it'd be a great result for Rob O'Neill to get on the podium. He's been competing for. So what have we got happened here?
I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm just seeing things, that's all. Don't worry about me. Harry McGovern, meanwhile, looking around the outside here as we head through the oak tree now. And look at that, he's tried to get the cut back there. Didn't quite work that time around. You could see the idea, though, just didn't quite work the way he wanted it to as we head now towards that Madison Avenue chicane. In the slipstream, Harry McGovern goes. He's not going to make this easy for Rob O'Neill whatsoever. The thing Colby James has to do is just try and get away from these two who are clearly going to battle for third place in towards that Madison Avenue chicane. But that's Rob O'Neill, is that who's got it wrong in towards the chicane. McGovern does really well there to avoid the contact, but McGovern now finds his way through and now up into third place. Such a shame for O'Neill there. Made that mistake in towards the Madison Avenue chicane, and now he finds himself down into fourth place. And even worse than that, he's now got Shine to deal with right behind him as we now make our way down that finish straight, down the front straight towards the first corner. And Rob O'Neill here could be robbed of another position here, down in towards the horseshoe. In fact, it's done before then as Shine makes his way now into fourth place. And that is a huge blow for Rob O'Neill then. Not done yet, obviously, but he's now down to fifth place when half a lap ago he was on the podium.
Yeah,
McGovern made a mistake now as we head in towards the left hook there of turn 4, and now Shine has found his way through. So McGovern now making a mistake, and this is the thing about this circuit. You see, drivers are making mistakes out there. If you can keep your head down and keep those mistakes to a minimum, you've got a great chance of a good result. Sorry to cut across you there, Rob.
No, you're fine. I was just about to say, I think it felt as though Harry McGovern was almost toying with Rob O'Neill in front of him, as you could clearly see from the onboard, he was gaining a huge amount of time in certain corners and was having to back off again, and it just felt like a matter of time. So I wonder, was it just the pressure that got to Rob O'Neill? Rob O'Neill's got some damage on the car, apparently. I just heard in my ear some front suspension damage, so that's what's causing the issues for Rob O'Neill, unfortunately. So maybe there's a bit of contact there, or maybe he's been too heavy-handed with the curbs. We'll find out afterwards if we get a chance to talk to him, perhaps. I'm going to have to hand over to you, Kieran, because again my stream has just dropped out. I don't know if you've got visuals or not.
I've got Clark here on the back of, I believe this is Healy then, as we head our way on towards that Madison Avenue chicane. He's going side by side now. He's got the inside line, has Clark, and he'll have the move done as well as he makes his way through. Great move there from Clark. He's now up to 6th place. Shine, meanwhile, on the back of James then as we head our way down towards the horseshoe. As you can see there, James is trying to defend the inside line. Shine trying to go around the outside of the horseshoe. He's trying now to get a little bit of a better exit out of the horseshoe through turn 2. Didn't quite work this time around, but we've already seen how James can cope well under pressure from drivers behind. Oh, as I just say that, he finds himself onto the grass, and Shine now finds his way through. McGovern trying to look up the inside as we head in towards left hook, and now in towards turns 5 and 6. Oh, that's a car around, and I think that is Colby James who was around there as he finds his way through, and I've just cursed him. Absolutely, that is commentator's curse right there, and unfortunately I have to apologise to Colby James for that one. He now finds himself down to 5th place, and McGovern now finds himself onto that podium placings. It just seems like that 3rd place seems to be a little bit cursed right now, and he just drops the back end there. Does he keep that out of the wall, and has he got damage?
I think he did keep it out of the wall. That happened to another car a few laps ago as well, in the exact same place. So people obviously just getting on the power a little bit too soon, back end coming round on them there. So is there a 12.8 second gap Rory O'Shea has there to Kevin Shine behind him? How did that happen? That's incredible.
That is pure persistence, and as you can see here, there's still another battle going on. That's McGovern there being passed. I wonder if that's for position, because that looked a little bit too easy there. As he,
it is for
through.
position, yeah.
Oh, that is.
It is, yeah. That's Kevin Shine, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong on that one.
That's Kevin Shine making his way through. So I think that's a back marker. So I think McGovern said, I'm not interested in battling you. You're not for position. But he will try and use that slipstream down the front straight towards the horseshoe. So that is why McGovern, that looked a little bit too easy of a move, because he's actually prioritising the battle on the lead lap rather than the back marker, which I think is a smart move.
Yeah, I think McGovern has been playing a really safe race so far from what I've seen from the onboards. And which is good to see. He's only a young guy. I think he's only 16 or something like that. So smart head on young shoulders.
Absolutely, as Clark sets the fast lap of the race of 42.2, I believe that was, as it quickly lit up on the screen there. So he's on a charge, is Clark. Can he try and claw his way up the order in the closing stages of this race? O'Shea still leads by 13.3 ahead of Shine. McGovern there, you can see, is in 3rd place, trying to chase down that 2nd place. O'Neill is in 4th place with James in 5th, Clark 6th with Healy 7th, Connolly in 8th, Collier 9th, McMullen then rounding out the top 10. This is Graben then, who's trying to chase down Hederman, and as we saw, Hederman made that mistake at the horseshoe on the very first lap. Here comes Graben then, up the hill we go, and towards Madison Avenue chicane as we head our way through. As you can see there, that is Graben trying to make life difficult for Hederman there as we head now in towards the roller coaster. It's a great section, this one, as it really is up and down, giving you that feeling there. But now we head in towards the final corner. Hog Pen through the final corner and down the front straight we go. And Hederman has actually built up a little bit of a lead. So maybe his car is better set up for that high-speed section from the roller coaster onwards.
Possibly so. And Sergey Grabon and Ronan Hederman, plenty of battles over the last 12 or 18 months in the Digital Motorsports Championship. So those two know each other very well. Plenty of respect and plenty of close racing. So 2 really quick races.
We can see now it's very spread out along the field, but Hussein has just set the fastest lap of the race. So I think that was probably Hussein who was passing McGovern there, trying to find his way back through. There is James Clark then. He's currently in 6th place at the moment, 3.3 behind James and O'Neill. But that is a battle that's come up. We believe that O'Neill does have damage on the car. So James is trying to close in and get that position back. that will be the battle for 4th place, and it is our closest action out on track. Not by much though, because there's still the battle for 11th place between Hederman and Graben there. Riding on board with Colby James then as he makes his way through, really attacking those curbs then as he makes his way now on towards the oak tree. He's looking to the left-hand side then, and he's got that straight line speed as we head through South Bend. He's got the inside line, and Colby James gets the position there, and that was a nice move, which was probably against a wounded O'Neill there, or at least a wounded car of O'Neill, and he does look like he's struggling. Doesn't look like he's got the pace anymore that he had, so you can clearly see that car is damaged. There is the oak tree as we make our way through turn 12, and now it's down the back straight towards the Madison Avenue chicane, and Colby James now 10 seconds behind McGovern. There is Hussein in the 007 car. He's in the pit lane at the moment. I wonder if he's looking to try and put on a brand new set of tyres and try and go for fastest lap maybe, unless there's an issue with the car.
Possibly so. I've just been watching the time, the gap between McGovern and Kevin Shine, and that's come down from 2.8 to 1.9 at the moment. So McGovern making inroads into Kevin Shine, and he's got 3 laps to do it. So it's going to be a bit of a push.
Here comes Clark then on O'Neill. He's looking for that move. Now he's behind him. You can see in the slipstream he's got the back marker as well to deal with. He's looking right up the inside in towards the horseshoe, but Rob O'Neill closes that door. James Clark no way through for him in towards that horseshoe. They've got to be careful because they've got a back marker there who's looking to try and find his way through when he can. And Clark there, well, that was aggressive defending from O'Neill, but that's made his stance perfectly clear. He's not going to let him through easily here.
Yeah, that was fairly aggressive, all right. Again, I think there might be an old incident going up to the clerk of the course after that one, but we'll see. On board with Clark here in his fantastic Jordan Benson and Hedges livery.
And there is Clark then, who's got the move done on O'Neill. And then you saw there, on board with Clark, he got that wrong in towards the snake and in towards turn 7. Meanwhile, this is the battle for what is now 10th place as Graben and Hederman try and battle their way in towards what I believe will be the roller coaster, or it's Madison Avenue chicane first as we now make our way through. But that is Graben there still behind Hederman now as we make our way through. It's going to be a great battle for 10th place here. Graben here is trying to make life difficult for Hederman as they now make their way through Hog Pen and on towards the start finish straight down the front straight. You can see there the two rivals battling each other once again. They found each other on the same bit of tarmac, now heading towards the horseshoe. Graben, he's still in that slipstream. Is he going to try and pull out and have a move? You can see Hederman defends to the inside line in towards the horseshoe. Graben trying to go round the outside, but he doesn't get onto the grass. No, he's run just a little bit too deep, lost that speed, and crucially a little bit of exit speed lost as well, and Hederman holds on for now.
Yeah, it's a great battle between these two, and as I was saying earlier, yeah, they've raced against each other for a long, long time. I wonder, the livery on Graben's cars looks like one of the old Paul Smith Mini Coopers from years ago. Must ask him afterwards what that's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see here Clark now trying to close in on James. So it's Colby James versus James Clark. And if that's not going to confuse you, I don't know what will. Two Jameses, one with a first name, one with a last name. But there you can see Clark is trying to close in as we head our way now through and towards the snake now. And it's this long winding section where if you lose any sort of speed on those curbs, or if you get any bit wrong there, you leave yourself vulnerable through the South Bend and in towards the Oak Tree.
Yeah, it's making me want to go back and drive this track straight away. Unfortunately, my sim's out of action at the moment, but I need to get back on the case very, very quickly.
Well, we can see here as we make our way now down towards the oak tree. Meanwhile, Graben and Hederman, they're not done yet. They're not done for a while then as they make their way now down the hill. As you can see, still one behind each other as they head their way through the roller coaster and now towards Hog Pen, the final corner here, making our way through. As you can see there, Hederman getting onto the curb on the left-hand side, and you can see now Graben is closing in down the start-finish straight. Meanwhile, we've got Colby James, who's been passed by James Clark. In towards the roller coaster they go, and Clark has got the move done. Ahead of Colby James he goes, and now into fourth place as Hederman and Graben, looking at the timing screens there, they're going side by side as well. Don't forget the battle between Collier and Connolly. So we're looking right now at the battle between Hederman and Graben here. Hederman just about holding true at
He's
the
off.
moment. Oh, he's off. He's off onto the grass. And now you can see now Graben trying to go up the inside, but somehow he still can't find that way through. Hederman has been given a lifeline there for that battle for 10th place. He made that mistake, but somehow he holds on to 10th place, and Graben just couldn't take advantage.
That was extremely lucky for for Ronan there. He got away with that one by the skin of his teeth. And fair play to Sergey. He's an extremely clean racer. He's probably going to be one of the guys up for the Gentleman Drivers Award, who the least incidents at the end of the championship. So you can always bank on him giving you space. So great stuff from Sergey as well.
Absolutely. Well, you saw there, Rory O'Shea is absolutely dominating this one. 19.5 seconds ahead of Shine. Clark in third place. McGovern there is in fourth place. James will be in fifth at the moment, and he's trying to get away from Rob O'Neill, which we assume he has damage on the car, and he's just trying to nurse that car to the end. What could have been for Rob O'Neill without that damage, unfortunately, he's got Healy on the back of him, who that will be a last lap scrap. I can guarantee you that one. If Rob O'Neill's car is as wounded as it is, that could be Healy trying to close up to him. I believe O'Shea has just started the final lap of the feature race. Then where did that time go? We're already on the final lap. I don't want this to end. But O'Shea has other ideas. He's now 20.3 seconds ahead of Shine there, and looking to try and win this one by some margin. And this is the problem when all the other drivers around you are battling behind you. They're the ones making the mistakes. O'Shea has kept his head down and pretty much been mistake free. And when you're leading the race and you're not on the stream, that's normally a good sign.
I think we lost Hederman during that piece where we were talking there. He's dropped from 10th down to 13th, I think. Oh no, sorry, so 10th to 12th. So Joe Montero managed to get past him, as did Grabon. Johnny McMullen as well, who was in 10th at one point, now back down to 13th.
And Collier's in the pits as well, and there has been an incident somewhere out on track. But meanwhile, we're going to see O'Shea here as he now makes his way on towards that back straight. He's got Madison Avenue chicane. He's got the roller coaster out there. Let's see what happened here with Ronan Hederman then, as he makes
he
massively understeers there. So, and he catches a bump in the track, and that's his suspension, the rear suspension completely gone. And here we go then, Rory O'Shea making his way through the roller coaster for the final time in this feature race. He's now making his way now down towards Hog Pen for the final time, 22 seconds ahead. He can afford to stop and have a cup of tea, but he now makes his way towards the line, weaving the whole way. Rory O'Shea will take the checkered flag for the feature race here at Virginia International Raceway. A dominant performance from him and a well-deserved victory added to his tally. That's going to do him no harm at all when it comes to the championship battle here. Shine here as he makes his way now through the last couple of corners on towards the start-finish line. He'll finish 24 seconds off the pace, but he will finish in that second place. That's also going to help him very dearly in that championship hunt. Second place for Shine then, as a great result from him. Then it's James Clark who will come across the line in third place there. Good result from him as he crosses that line to take that final podium position. Harry McGovern will cross the line in fourth place there. What could have been drive as well for Colby James as he makes his way across the line in fifth place. He got a great start out of all of that, but just made a few too many mistakes. Healy crosses the line. He'll finish in sixth place, and a good result from him. But Rob O'Neill, what a story that could have been. Third place at one point, wounded the car, but he will get it home into seventh place, and points do mean prizes, and he'll be happy with that one at least. We've got Graben, Montero and Collier who have taken the checker flag, who are a lap down. So Connolly will be the final driver to finish on the lead lap of the feature race here at Virginia International Speedway, and he'll be making his way across the line any moment now through the final couple of corners, and he will be the last person on the lead lap to take the checkered flag. Well, have you got your breath back, Rob? Because that was such an intense race.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting. The rate of attrition was fairly high in that one, and a lot of people we were hoping and expecting to do really well all fell by the wayside. So an interesting result. Great stuff for O'Shea. Bad luck for Hederman and Rob O'Neill and Johnny McMullen and all these guys. But yeah, fantastic stuff. Great racing from the Pro-Am class. And that brings us nicely to, we need to mention now, today is a bit different from previous rounds of the championship. We've got 2 streams. So kicking off actually just a few moments ago is the Pro class live stream. So if you're watching this stream, if you head back to the Facebook page, you'll get the link on the last post on our page to the live stream for the Pro class. So there's 2 more races to watch there with our Pro level drivers. Go and enter the competition again. More times you enter, the more chances you've got to win.
Absolutely, I might enter just to put my name in the hat. Why not? But obviously, go down, click that in the description there, and get yourselves in that competition for a chance to win those fantastic prizes. And of course, as Rob said, don't miss out on some more great racing when the pros take to the track at Virginia International Raceway. In the meantime, though, that's going to be it from us. So hopefully, you'll join the guys now at the Pro Series. Rob, it's been a pleasure to be alongside you in the box.
Absolutely, and we will see you in a fortnight's time. Just trying to think quickly. Watkins Glen, yes, very good, for the penultimate round of the championship, the final round on the 19th of August from Road America. So yeah, fantastic stuff, great racing. We will be here next week, and Kieran, over to you, let you sign out.
Thank you very much. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed tonight's action. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss another race. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.
Enjoying what you're watching and want to become the next sim racing star? Here at Digital-Motorsports.com, not only can we supply all the parts, but we can custom build your dream simulator rig from start to finish. Just like we have done for world famous drivers like rally legend Craig Breen, drift superstars James Dean and Conor Shanahan. We can build, deliver and set up your full custom simulator rig in your home and offer round-the-clock support to keep you racing to the top. To find out more, visit Digital-Motorsports.com.
On the 6th round of this championship, so we'll just wait around for that. But now we're just waiting for the drivers to ready up, and possibly Dempsey and Walsh starting to take a little leaf out of Mangan's book, because those 3, actually Tony Stack as well, they're now the last to get on the grid. So Mangan, I think, has started a trend here. He always seems to be the last one to ready up, but there's definitely people starting to take notice of this now. The top 15, it seems to be, will be reversed for the feature race. So the driver in 15th place will have the reverse grid pole. So that's a key battle to watch as well. Everybody is waiting on the grid now. We're ready to go here in Virginia for this round. Heat number 1 in Virginia. Here we go. Red lights are on. Keith Dempsey on pole. Oisin Walsh next to him. Away we go. And it's a good start from Dempsey and Mangan as well. Mangan surged through. Oisin Walsh has had a terrible start as they head towards turn 1, dropping down the order like a stone. It's Dempsey from Mangan from McManus. Nicky Meredith up the inside. Dempsey has the whole shot at the turn 1. Mangan second. McManus left that to dry a little bit there as Nicky Meredith tries to pop up the inside as they go through turn 1. All looking good so far for everybody. Oisin Walsh just did not get off the line. They're side by side between McManus and Meredith here. Meredith round the outside through turn 3. Can he stick that up the inside again? McManus still alongside as they come through. Great little battle going on between these guys. Meredith just nips in front there. McManus, Devaney's had a good start. Walsh down to 6th place after that first lap. He just did not get off the line. McManus still trying to find his way through. Diving left, right. He's trying to find his space to get past Meredith here. And now here comes Michael Devaney as well as they come down through the S's right here, side by side as well. McManus is up the inside. There's going to be contact again. That was always going to happen. McManus and Meredith off the road. And it's a mirror image of Laguna Seca, lap number 1, 2 cars in the wall. That was never going to work there, and they're now going to be out of this race and possibly out of contention even in the reverse grid race, Sam.
I mean, was it worth it? Was it worth it, really, to go side by side through the S's? It would have been spectacular, and it is pretty much a straight in these cars. But I say it again, it is so narrow, and they collide, they tangle. Like at Devaney, he's up 6 places already. It's definitely, he might be down one though very soon because Ocean Water's right on his tail, and right away Jordan Kelly catches up to these guys. But yeah, that was a bit of an unnecessary battle from McManus and Ahmed, and it's really allowed the top two to pull away. It's quite a gap at the moment between the top three drivers. As off the circuit goes Richard Faulkner into the wall. We've got big runoff areas around this place, but not big enough runoff areas, and he he knocks a couple of wheels off his machine. Devaney having to go defensive again, and this is just going to extend this train. There's a decent amount of slipstream, it seems, out there available for the drivers. Here comes Kelly, double time race winner already this season. Of course, most notably at the oval round we had at Phoenix, and that's a brilliant move there from Ocean Water to get back ahead of Michael Devaney. He does seem to be a little bit slower than these guys. Great start for Devaney. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to keep up these places much longer.
Yeah, Kelly just trying to make his way through here. Michael Devaney trying to hang him back. Ocean Water already building the gap, and Keith Dempsey just checked out front, 2 seconds clear of Mangan already. Now up through the S's, this is spectacular stuff, trying to follow a car as well. Not easy, having to get out of the throttle constantly. Down a gear, through the left, a lot of speed carry from Devaney, and that's going to leave him on the grass. And now Kelly to the outside on board with Jason Cooper. He's getting a front row seat for the action right here through the tyre section. Now long straight, and this is going to be a slipstream for him. This could go 3 wide into the blind crest, and that might not end well for these guys. Rob Moore is right on the tail as well of Jason Cooper. Now up the hill as they come. Let's see if Kelly can at least get past Devaney here as they come cresting over the top right here. Jason Cooper with a massive run. He's not going to go 3 wide there. He knows it won't work, and Jordan Kelly is just going to slot in front of Michael Devaney right there, and I think that was smart driving from Jason Cooper. You do not want to make it 3 wide into a blind corner.
No, there was physically no room at all for him there. Would have had to dip a couple of wheels onto the grass, and he stays behind. But I think this one should come to Cooper eventually. Just needs to make sure that that he gets past Devaney pretty quickly now. Otherwise, Kelly could potentially pull away. But I do want to see a replay, maybe after the meeting today of Devaney's start, because that was spectacular how he managed to gain 6 places on the opening lap. Yeah, he is gradually dropping back at the moment. We've still got 17 drivers right. It seems like Richard Faulkner managed to get back out on circuit. He is about to go a lap down, however, but he's in 17th place. But glad that he must have got towed back to the pits and get some new tyres on that car. Using his fast repair.
Mangan just took a little bit of time out of Keith Dempsey that time. Fast lap of the race from Mangan, but only a 10th between them. Keith Dempsey always very good at building a gap really early on, smashing in the lap times and building the gaps so much that he can't get it back down again. But Mangan having a much better day at the moment in 2nd place, 2 seconds off the back of Keith. And this is the battle we kind of wanted to see, was between Mangan and Dempsey, but we saw it last week and it ended in tears, so hopefully they managed to keep it together. 1.9 off the back as well, not too far off the back of Mangan is Oisin Walsh. He's recovered well after that very poor start and dropping down the order early on. But yeah, we now look at Keith Dempsey, who's just chasing after Brian McManus, who's about to go a lap down. Of course, in the background, 2 cars side by side. Jordan Kelly is going to lose the place back again to Michael Devaney, who's not giving someone that a fight round the outside into the blind crest. There's going to be a little bit of net code came in there, and Jordan Kelly on the receiving end, unfortunately, has to take to the grass. Does a bit of grass cutting. He should be okay, but he's going to emerge right in the middle of this fight right here with Dave Maguire, Tony Stack, Arias Imantas, Valentinas Marchenkovic. But Jordan Kelly, I mean, a totally innocent party right there. Definitely looked like net code. And oh Lord God, here we go, 3 abreast down towards turn 1. Michael Devaney in the middle, Jason Cooper on the inside, Rob Moore on the outside line. Who's going to come out on top here? Devaney later on the brakes. Cooper has the space though, and he's going to prise the door open, and Rob Moore goes straight through as well. They managed to make that work somehow. It's always scary watching cars go 3 abreast right here, but Michael Devaney not giving it up though, sticks it back up the inside into turn 2, but Moore is ahead. But poor old Jordan Kelly got definitely hung out to dry there.
Yeah, that was a huge bit of net code for Kelly. That was a good 3 foot between the 2 cars, but he's now right in the thick of the action. All off the circuit is Imantas. He was saying just before this race, this place is harder than the Nürburgring, which I probably agree with him. Nürburgring, you can pretty much kind of just drive that circuit, not necessarily race it, but to drive it, it's kind of all right. This place to get the most out of the car is very tricky, as we are seeing Kelly struggle here, and he goes off the circuit. We saw that same mistake from Devaney earlier on, of course, who has towed back to the pits, and well, you can see for yourself that car is not how it's meant to look. Such a shame for Devaney. Spectacular start, one of the starts of the season, but he just didn't have the pace to keep those positions, and now something else has happened to him. Meanwhile, Rob Moore has gained a place back on Jason Cooper. In fact, he's up 5 places now, is Rob Moore. 4 seconds up to Ocean Water. Doubt that's going to happen, but still, good run for the Privateer at the moment.
Yeah. Really good. Let's have a look at what happened to Michael Devaney here. He's behind Rob Moore, just outbraked himself onto the grass and bang into the tyre wall. And that was a really small error, but that cost him. And he had to go wide at the one piece of the track where there isn't any runoff, and that it just claimed the victim right there. But now we're going back to this battle right here. Dave Maguire is running well in 6th place. Tony Stack behind him. And Valentin Marchenko was also on the tail of that one as well. Car off the road, Jason Cooper off the road up ahead as he was fighting with Rob Moore. Now that's going to bring him right into the clutches of Dave Maguire, who's trying to vie for a top 5 finish in this opening heat race. And plenty of action once again, with Cooper dropping back a little bit now as we're halfway through this heat race as well. Remember, the top 15 are inverted. So the driver in P15 at the moment is Dara Daly, and he will take that reverse grid pole. We look now at Rob Barble, who's under severe pressure from Arias Yumantis and Peter McCann as they go 3 down the hill right now. Peter McCann a little wheel onto the grass, and Yumantis trying to find a way through past Barble here. No way through, but now heading onto this long back straight. You just see a glimpse of Shane Rabbit, Lawrence Oswald, Yumantis already alongside as they head down towards the blind crest up here. Yumantis is going to try get himself in front before the braking zone. That's what you need to do as they come still side by side, coming through up ahead as well. And Tony Stack is trying to put pressure on Marchenko as well. But now Yumantis, can he get it done? No, Barable just holds on right there and late into the braking zone. The Yumantis gets the run on him round the outside, and beautiful stuff from him right there. Forced him a little bit wide and through he went. Dara Daly, who was sitting in the 15th place, is now out, and I wonder what has happened up front, because Keith Dempsey, what a lap, pulled a second out of Mangan that time. I wonder that it's lap traffic that are currently in there, but Dempsey opening the gap now to Mangan, just getting past McManus right there, and still now we wait to see who's going to be on that reverse grid pole. Currently it's going to be, it should be Nicky Meredith once he crosses the line. It'll be interesting to see Nicky Meredith when he gets through. But Rob Barble, oh no, he was running really well, but seems to have lost it on the back section. That's turn 1, actually, turn 1, as he came through right there. But unfortunately for him, that's dropped into 14th. But if he can hang in there, that will be P2 on the grid for the reverse grid. So of course, you are watching the Digital-Motorsports.com Indy Pro 2000 Cup, sponsored by Next Level Racing and supported by Driver 61 and by iRacing. So make sure to get yourself involved in the giveaway, which is happening at the moment. The link is in the description on Apex Racing TV, and the link is in the chat on iRacing Esports Network if you want to be in with a chance of winning an FGT Lite or an FGT sim rig, as Rob Moore has now gone off the road as well. So the man who's running that suspension damage, it looks like, on the rear for him, as now we look at this battle in the middle right now. Shane Rabbit at the lead of this train, Peter McCann side by side with De Soswa as they head down to the blind crest. Shane is trying everything to keep them behind. De Soswa on the outside line, can he keep in front? He keeps in front of McCann, but now Shane Rabbit goes off the road, just outbrakes himself into the blind crest and falls behind those two right now. So De Soswa still in front as well. Jordan Kelly again losing the car, and De Soswa goes through again. It seems, guys, it's really punishing, even though there's lots of runoff, Sam. If you outbrake yourself, the grass is completely like ice.
It is, and it's sloped as well. It's sloped downhill, so you kind of slide away from the circuit. Absolutely so tricky. It's interesting as well to just see these cars react. We're kind of used to the Formula 3 cars we've had for a couple of years on iRacing, and they really grip to the surface. I mean, it's rare that you see them slide. With these cars, they got a little bit less downforce, and so they just slide on the corner entry. If they're deep on the brakes, and you'll just see them lose adhesion to the circuit and kind of slide off, and that's what I've seen a couple of times. Really nice to see the drivers kind of have to wrestle with these cars a little bit more, kind of get right to the limit of the grip. yeah, it's making for some spectacular racing. And also, of course, this part of the circuit totally flats up, but get a little bit of a tow. Now the number 12 of McCann catching up to his VRA teammates of Jordan Kelly. As Kelly, apologies, that's McCann this time who makes a mistake. I mean, I don't think we've seen this many mistakes all season long around the circuit. This is kind of what we expected, to be fair, from this track, but it just shows the difficulty.
It's really testing the drivers right at the moment. So Shane Rabbit going to try and capitalise on that, and he slipstreams past Peter McCann into 12th place. Now, currently, this would be nice for, of course, McManus, who was involved in that lap 1 incident with Meredith. But McManus currently on reverse grid pole, which would really help him in his endeavours in the feature race. And let's see, he's now just behind. That is the leader, actually. He's behind Keith Dempsey, and he's actually keeping tabs. That's a car spun right there. It looks like, I think that's Michael Devaney again. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is Michael Devaney down in 18th. So it's gone from bad to worse. Michael Devaney gets lapped by Oisin Walsh, but McManus actually, he's kind of keeping tabs with the leader, kind of just showing I would be here if I had not had that accident. And you can kind of see, even just visually, Mangan is kind of closing in, and I reckon McManus could kind of help him here, because he'll be able to get the toe off McManus and maybe drag himself up a little bit. If he can gain a couple of tenths, he's not quite in the draft yet. If he can gain a couple more tenths, he'll be in that draft and possibly could be a threat to Dempsey in the last 2 laps.
Yeah, he started all of a sudden to gain on the race leader. A couple of purple sectors recently. Has there been an issue for Cooper somewhere? There was some red on the timing screen which caught the corner of my eye. I think Cooper may have lost a place there. Yeah, Mangan's all of a sudden gaining, and it's down to 1.2 seconds now. You're right about the toe. If he gets a draft down the pit straight, that's easily another quarter of a second out of the margin. As we see from the shoulder cam, him trying to catch up here. So we'll gain a few more tenths. It goes from 1.2 seconds down to 1.1 second. Now this is where he needs McManus to just let him on by, just lift off the throttle, and that's what he does. He has got to go offline slightly, but that still helps him on the most part. It's down to 1 second now. And once you get into the draft around this place, you can really suck up to your rival. 2 laps to go, and this one isn't over as Mangan has a big slide. That just shows how hard he's pushing.
He's wrestling this thing around here. This is a great shot that we have on board, chasing after Keith Dempsey. Head again sideways on the exit, and trying to get through the S's right here, using all of the curb, slamming those curbs in these cars. He's still not quite in the draft. He kind of be a little bit closer than this, but certainly Keith Dempsey has got a target on his back right now. It's interesting. No, Mangan has not won a race at all this season, so it'd be nice to get one under his belts. Keith Dempsey trying to get his second, using all of the road right there. Oscar Mangan on a massive push right here to get up to the lead of this race if he possibly can. He's just trying to get in the draft range, but Dempsey is just matching him 10th after 10th. It's just really impossible nearly to gain any time on him. But we've got 1 lap to go, crossing the line next time. And of course, remember, these guys will be starting further down the grid, 15th and 14th on the grid respectively. Now up to the blind crest. Dempsey still holding on very nicely here to this lead, but Mangan is bringing it down. You can kind of see it down to 0.8 of a second now as he gets on the exit. It's getting interesting now. He's really pushing. It's just, that car is all over the place, using all of the curb, and he's really got some trust in this car. Now he's in draft range as they come across the line to begin the final lap of heat number 1, heading into the feature next time. Oscar Mangan on the chase, and he's in draft range. He needs to keep himself in this range as they head to the back straight right now. This is going to be interesting. Kind of see he took another 0.4 of a second out of him that lap, so it's a great drive so far from Mangan. Can he possibly catch up to Keith Dempsey? Can he pass Keith Dempsey? That's another thing. Remember what happened in Laguna Seca when he tried to pass him? They came together. So Oisin Walsh is going to be hoping that happens, because he's 5 seconds behind them, so he needs them to have a kind of a big off. But Mangan right now is on a big push. You could see that just the attitude of the car. He's really just making sure he's trying to keep himself in the draft. And you can see they pulled away from McManus, because they pulled 2.3 on McManus already. So here we go, up through the S's. And the next corner after this little section is the hairpin leading on to the back straight, which is the prime overtaking opportunity. It's essentially Mangan's last chance as they come down the hill into the braking zone for the hairpin. Now down to 0.6 of a second. Mangan is really wanting this one now. Onto the power. Mangan needs the run. Has he got the run? He's a long way back right now, but watch, the draft will help him. But I don't know if he's going to be quite close enough to make a move right here. He's 0.6 behind him. The draft not quite in right now. He's starting to close in now, but he's going to reach the end of the straight before he's able to make any sort of move right here. I think Dempsey might just have enough right here as they head into the last sector. Mangan, he's close, but he's not quite close enough, and he's not going to try anything in these last couple of corners. Dempsey, I think, has just done a perfect job here as they head down towards the last corner now, into the left and into the right-hander, leading up to the straight. Now, it's not going to be quite over just yet. Dempsey needs to run out of the last corner as they head to the line. I think it's just going to be just enough for Dempsey. He'll cross the line and win heat race number 1. Oscar Mangan right behind him in P2, and Oisin Walsh is going to cross the line for 3rd place. If there was one more lap, Mangan would just wanted one more lap, and he might have just had him. But Rob Moore in a battle with Lawrence de Soswa at the moment as well. De Soswa trying to get up to 9th place, trying to hold on to a top 10 finish as well. And through the last corner, he is going to be able to do that. Rob Moore crossed the line for 9th place. Lawrence de Soswa 10th. Jordan Kelly will come behind. And then Shane Rabbit, Rob Barble, Peter McCann and Brian McManus will be the front row for the reverse grid race. But Mangan, the way, one more lap, and I would have had him, but he most certainly would have had he had one more lap.
Yeah, I think so. And even on the run to the line, he wasn't far off, was he? He just needed to be a couple of tenths closer going on to that last lap. Little bit worrying as well for the race winner for Keith to have those slightly slower end to the race. He was so quick at the start, but then his pace seemed to deteriorate with a longer feature race. That he could be in trouble by the end of the event. So he's got to be careful, and maybe we'll need to make some changes or changes to his driving style to preserve those tires a bit better.
Here's your Heat 1 results. Keith Dempsey ahead of Oscar Mangan by just 0.3 across the line. Oisin Walsh P3, Dave Maguire P4, Jason Cooper, Tony Stack, Valentinas Marchenkovic, Arias Imantis, Rob Moore and Lawrence Sauce with an outside there. Jordan Kelly, Shane Rabbit, Rob Barble, and your front row for the feature race is Peter McCann and Brian McManus. Nicky Meredith behind 16th, Michael Devaney, Dara Daly, and then we'll, of course, have the last non-finisher in 19th place. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with you very shortly for the feature race.
Enjoying what you're watching and want to become the next sim racing star? Here at Digital-Motorsports.com, not only can we supply all the parts, but we can custom build your dream simulator rig from start to finish. Just like we have done for world famous drivers like rally legend Craig Breen, drift superstars James Dean and Connor Shanahan. We can build, deliver and set up your full custom simulator rig in your home and offer round-the-clock support to keep you racing to the top. To find out more, visit Digital-Motorsports.com. Enjoying what you're watching and want to become the next...
You're very welcome back to the Digital-Motorsports.com Indy Pro2000 Championship, sponsored by Next Level Racing and supported by Driver 61 and by iRacing. Don't forget to enter the giveaway for the 2 Next Level Racing sim rigs, which will be given away on the 20th of August live. So make sure to get yourself in with a chance of winning that. They're great prizes. And if you have been wanting to get involved in sim racing but don't have the equipment, then certainly a sim rig will be of benefit to you as well. But we're heading to the feature race very shortly. Top 15 will be inverted as per usual. So we'll have Brian McManus and Peter McCann, a VRA Racing front row, and Brian McManus, of course, involved in the lap 1 crash with Nicky Meredith. He's got a chance to redeem himself and possibly to keep the streak alive that we have of the winners of the feature races. We've had 4 different feature race winners this season so far. Let's see if we can keep it up. But of course, the same winner has been already broken with Jordan Kelly last time out in Laguna Seca, and Keith Dempsey as well getting his second This is his first heat race win. But let's have a look at the grid then for this race. Round 4 of the Digital-Motorsports.com Indy Pro 2000 Cup, sponsored by Next Level Racing. Brian McManus on the pole, Peter McCann next to him, Rob Barble, Shane Rabbit, Jordan Kelly, Lawrence Susazwa, Rob Moore, Arias Yamantas, Valentinas Marchenkovic, and Tony Stack. Then the top 5 further down: Jason Cooper, Dave McGuire, Oisin Walsh, Oscar Mangan, and Keith Dempsey. And watch out for Nicky Meredith, Michael Devaney. They've got a point to prove. And then Dara Daly and Richard Faulkner at the very back of this 19-car grid for this 4th round of the championship. Can we see another new winner? Let's wait and see as we wait for the drivers to ready. We're just waiting for Dara Daly to get on the grid. And here we go then. The lights are going to illuminate in front of the drivers for the 4th round of the championship here at Virginia. Let's see who's going to get going. McManus away, good start from him. McCann, not a great start now. Rob Barble immediately goes up into the inside. Late reactions from McCann, 3 abreast already in the background as they head towards turn 1. It's McManus from Barble who's going to have a go for the lead on the inside as they head towards turn 1, but not quite alongside. McCann down to 3rd, Shane Rabbit to 4th, Yamantas, Marchenkovic, Moore, Kelly. What's happened further down? There's been a couple of cars off. It looks like Jason Cooper facing the wrong way in turn 1. Nicky Meredith involved as well. That's another car. Dave McGuire also involved as well. Richard Faulkner makes his way through. Looking all good for those guys, but great start again from Keith Dempsey into 11th. He slots ahead of DeSazwa, and Mangan has now fallen behind as well. Now Oisin Walsh is going to have to try and fend off Dempsey right here as they now try to fight their way through to the front of the field already. They need to get a move on board with Keith Dempsey, the championship leader, behind Oisin Walsh, and now Walsh is going to go for the move on the inside of the S's. Tony Stack is going to leave the ring. Is Dempsey going to try and follow through? He's on the curb. Has he got through? Yes, he has. That was bravery of next level stuff right there, and he gets through, and he had to try these on the grass though to come down the hill, but he manages to somehow hold on edge of your seats. Oh, massive crash involving multiple cars. Rob Moore, Marchenkovic, and somebody else. Well, Jordan Kelly, I think. Jordan Kelly missing the front wing, and lap 1 instance already happening right here. And as a result, let's have a quick look at this again as they head into it. Just a touch in the rear from Jordan Kelly. Marchenkovic goes around and Rob Moore gets caught up in it.
That move
looks like Rob Moore escaped with minor damage.
Yeah. I think Moore has he lost his front wing right there, or will he be able to continue? Well, yeah, it looks as though he will just be able to continue on his way. But yeah, that move from Keith Dempsey of America, absolutely craziness. We saw it from an angle that it wasn't totally clear his visibility, but I doubt he could see it a whole lot himself when he went into turn 1. So we're tied for 4th place. Shane Rabbit and Arias Yamantas at Yamantas already up 3 places, and that's what I was talking about earlier on. The grip just slightly running away from the drivers under braking, and Yamantas up into 4th place. I believe he did get a podium at Brands Hatch last season, and he's trying to do the same thing. Already Keith Dempsey about a second behind these guys, and Keith Dempsey only 5 seconds off the lead, less than that, 5 seconds, less than 5 seconds off the lead. But Walsh and Mangan still going with him. Mangan fastest first sector of anyone on this lap. So Dempsey has got to be absolutely rapid in order to keep a car between him and the car number 99.
Yeah, and as well, Oisin Walsh not letting go of the back of Keith Dempsey. Walsh let him through on the front straight as they head towards turn 1, but Oisin Walsh is going to use Keith Dempsey to his advantage, I think, trying to drag himself up through the field. But yeah, Yamantas did get a podium earlier on in the season. Last time he has to check up on the exit as Dempsey as he falls in behind. Shane Rabbit already fighting for the top 5, but this is going to be interesting. Dempsey, Walsh and Mangan together now trying to fight for the top 5 positions. Dempsey in the slipstream of Shane Rabbit right here, but Rabbit will also have the toe of Yamantas ahead of him. Does Dempsey go for anything here? Is the blind crest coming in, and he's going to have to back out of something here. Moves to the inside, but he's going to have a go on the inside, and bravery touches wheels, but somehow gets it done. What's a move again from Keith Dempsey, not messing around. Walsh follows him through, Mangan follows him through. I tell you what, Shane Rabbit did not see that one coming.
Little bit of netcode, but I think they were going to hit them hit anyway, and they were both very lucky to get away with so little damage. Dempsey could be under big pressure though from Oisin Walsh, car number 1. I think Walsh just backed out of that one, in fact, so didn't want to overtake. However, if he doesn't overtake Dempsey, then it's only about time till Mangan overtakes him, so he's got to really think about that one. These guys now 5 seconds behind, so even during the traffic, even though they're making overtakes, they're still maintaining the gap to Brian McManus, which is good signs for them to be able to get to the front by the end.
Yeah, exactly. So as well, I think Walsh and Mangan are kind of hanging back because they're using Dempsey as the kind of the door opener to get through. So if they can keep with him, they'll be able to find the space to get through. But now Dempsey, his next target is Arias Yamantas, the Lithuanian. Let's see if he can get through past him here. He's on his tail as they run through the S's down towards the hairpin to the back straight. Is he going to try anything? He's going to throw one up the inside. Yamantas already wise to it, defends the inside line as they head down towards the hairpin. Is he going to throw one up the inside here? No, he's going to hang back. Gets a little bit loose on the entry. Let's see, he should be able to get something done here as they head down the back straight here, but they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down as Peter McCann's also going to get involved or dropped into this one as well as Yamantas gets the toe off of him as they head down here. This is fantastic racing right here. The three contenders all together right here. McCann defending against Yamantas. This might get dicey. Yamantas going to try it on the outside line. Is Dempsey going to try and find some space? The door's been opened for him by the Lithuanians. They go side by side down the hill. Dempsey trying to find a Mangan, going to try for a double. He gets past Wall. Does he get past Dempsey? No. But slots in behind Dempsey right there. As off the road goes McCann. And Dempsey going to go past Yamantas as well. Was there contact down the hill? There's damage on the rear for Yamantas. Looks like rear suspension damage for him. As I think now the tries to get back on the road. McCann gets back going again, thankfully. But looks like damage for the Lithuanian of Yamantas. As they head down here now, this is going to get interesting, Sam, because Dempsey, Mangan and Walsh now have got to try and make up time. But now they're going to start battling with each other.
Yeah, I think they should be able to catch up to the race leaders anyway. They need to gain by, I think, about 0.4 of a second a lap. They should have time to catch up, but Mangan will desperately want to pass Dempsey. I think there is a little bit of a rivalry now between these two, and Mangan was so desperate to just get within half a second of Dempsey in race one so he could get the draft and get past his rival. Finally, he's got that opportunity, although a couple of poor corners, and he's just dropped slightly back behind them. Rabbit and Yamantas going sideways through the S's, and also taking advantage of that was Devaney. Great to see Michael back up there. He moves up into 7th place as Yamantas has another off, and he's quickly gone from 4th position down into 8th.
Yeah, that's how quickly it can go wrong as they head down the back straight here. Lawrence de Sosma going to try and make up a place as well. Yamantas gives him a slight squeeze to the grass, but he should be able to slipstream through no problem. Looks like front wing damage on for Yamantas anyway. So he's going to struggle to hang on to that in the background as well. McCann going to lose a spot to Nicky Meredith, who's going to slot into the top 10 spots right here. So looks like everybody's still running apart from Dave Maguire, who's in the pit lane very close as Meredith almost touches the rear of Yamantas into the braking zone of that really, really tight blind crest entry. But still at the moment, it's still McManus who leads this race. Rob Barble still in P2. Meredith finds the gap again. Oh no! Big contact in the background. Yamantas now definitely has rear damage as they come down there, and that's going to be him surely out of this race. And that was not ideal for him. It's a bit of an unusual one there because it happened earlier, and Yamantas seems to always lose it on the rear coming through that last corner, but twitching all around the place, and unfortunately that's him out of this race and into the pit lane with damage. But Keith Dempsey and these guys are on a massive charge. They're 2.7 back from Rob Barble, who's in 2nd place, and they're 5.4 behind McManus, and McManus needs to be banging in consistent lap times because ideally he wants these guys to catch him in the very last sector of the last lap where there's no opportunity for these guys to get through. But I wonder who's going to be in front of any of these guys at the end, because we know Mangan desperately wants to beat Dempsey, and Usheen Walsh is kind of just the dark horse hanging in here. We know he's got the pace. He won in Phoenix, so don't count him out.
No, yeah, he could certainly still take this race win. Could Oisin, and he's comfortably keeping up with the couple of guys ahead. Will Mangan go for a move here on Dempsey? I think it's very wise for Mangan to get ahead. You know, he can then control the pace, and that's what he's going to try to do down the inside into the crest. And now you don't want to half commit to a move. That's just going to hold these guys up. He's got to really commit to an overtake if he goes for it, but this is a good range for him now. It's tricky to defend down into turn 1. It's a very long pit straight or pit curve that we have around this circuit, and yeah, Mangan needs to go for this one. They're about half a second a lap faster than the lead, but McManus is a 42.2. That is a massive lap time, only a tenth faster for these guys on that last lap as Dempsey goes defensive, and this is hurting their chances at the moment. Managed to hold off his rival into turn 1, but back comes the 99 again, gets the outside, but there's not much of an overtaking opportunity into the left hand. You kind of got to wait now until the back straight, until the other pits, in order to go for a move. But this is they're still about 5 seconds off the lead. So they need more like 0.6 of a second now at this point.
Yeah, Dempsey is also kind of caught up to Rob Barwell. That's the car who's going through the S's at the moment, just ahead of this 3-car train. So now Dempsey might have a little bit of a toe off Barwell as well, but they've got to fight for position. Rob Barwell is not going to let these guys through easily. He's going to fight to try and hold on to this, but this is fantastic. These guys have been nose to tail for the entire race so far. Mangan desperately trying for that first win. Oisin Walsh trying to grab his second. Keith trying to grab his second as well. So Mangan is the only one that can keep the streak alive. But of course, McManus still out in the lead. McManus has not won for a long time. Is Mangan going to try it now, or is Dempsey now? This is going to be a crucial one for him. Does he get past Barrable into the break zone? He's not quite close to Mangan. Close, but no cigar just yet as they come into the blind crest. Dempsey defends. Walsh is just hanging back right now, just hoping that these guys come together in front of him. Down into the last corner right now. Huge speed carried down into the last corner right here. Mangan got very close, but now surely a chance that Dempsey defends the inside. Mangan is alongside. This could be the move for the eventual race lead. Mangan next to him. Walsh is going to try and hang back here, but Dempsey has the inside line for turn 1, so he should be able to try and hold on to this one. Mangan has to back off once again into the break zone. Dempsey defends it nicely and defends the run out by Mangan as well. Holds the middle of the road and keeps him behind once again, but Mangan looks like he has the pace advantage over Keith, and Keith just clouting the curb a little bit there. Mangan just showing himself in the race. He desperately wants to get past right here as they try and close up to the lead. The leader is gaining time on them. He's 6 seconds clear at the moment, is Brian McManus. These guys need to clear Rob Barrable quite quickly, because now Dempsey's stuck behind Barrable and he needs to make a move quickly into the S's. Barrable, does he move over and back out of it? No. Dempsey's going to go side by side through the S's and he slots in front of Barrable, and Mangan gets left out. Mangan's got to try and get through quickly here, but sure, they're coming up to the back straight surely closely now, so he might be able to get a run through here. But now already Dempsey is clear and Mangan needs to clear Barrable very quickly to keep himself in touching distance of Dempsey. But a crucial move from Dempsey now, and he's built a small little bit, he's got a little bit of breathing space now over Mangan, and Mangan is now going to try and get through past Rob Barrable, which is going to be no easy feat just yet for him. Up to the blind crest. Barrable is within his rights to fight, of course. What does Mangan do? Does he move to the outside? He's going to have to commit to this one around the outside line. Does he get it stopped? Oh, it's going to be very close. They make contact. Mangan and Dempsey together. Mangan leads. But somehow Dempsey managed to hang on to that car. Barrable, they made it 3 abreast into the blind crest. Mangan into the provisional lead of this race. Walsh behind. Somehow Dempsey is still alive after that contact. He's still in with a shot right here. Mangan into second. Walsh to third. And Dempsey to fourth. Now the chase begins.
Absolutely incredible. Went 3 wide, and it just seemed like Mangan was too late on the brakes. I think they all missed their braking zone in the end. They were so desperate to get ahead of one another. I think every single one of them was all sliding into that corner. I think, none more so than Mangan. But if anything, it looked like the initial contact occurred between Barrable and Dempsey there. So not sure quite who's to blame. Mangan, though, 6.6 off the lead. I mean, now he needs a second lap. It went from half a second to 0.6 to a second now, because they've lost another second that last time round. Mangan needs mid 41s, which is qualifying pace, in order to catch up. Is Dempsey within slipstream range at the moment on these guys? It seems like he's just over a second behind. Slipstream kicks in at about 1.2 seconds, although it is very weak from that far back. A couple of good laps here for Mangan. He could break the draft to Dempsey, and that would make the podium positions much easier. Oh, Dempsey spins it round now. I don't know if that's damage on the car. I think he was just pushing too hard, dipped a wheel onto the grass, and Keith Dempsey, and he's not even getting back going now. He does. I thought he may have just given up on the whole race there, and he drops a few places. He looks on course to challenge for the race, but it's going to be far from that. In fact, he's going to do spectacularly well to get back up to 5th.
That's a very rare mistake. We never see a spin from Keith Dempsey of his own accord, but he's now managed to get back on. Oh, here we go. 3 abreast down towards the blind crest. Richard Faulkner, Michael Devaney, and Shane Rabbit, who now gets left out to dry behind. Now side by side between Faulkner and Devaney. Devaney manages to come out in front. Oh, contact behind between Rabbit and Faulkner. They're going to become attached as they come down the hill, and they're still attached as they come down the hill. What on earth are we watching right now? These cars are merged, and they've become one on board with Shane Rabbit. What on earth is this? Oh, and he gets deposited into the gravel. Richard Faulkner gets rid of him eventually. I think that was a little bit of punishment from Richard Faulkner. He making sure that Rabbit knows that he's not happy with him.
Well done to Sam Kume there for switching on the onboard. That was fantastic.
Like Sam.
Fantastic to see. No, that's crazy. iRacing Esports Network by iRacing everyone. Great product. No, that happens a little bit. Hasn't happened too much this season. At least I have improved it. But yeah, there's still a bit of room for improvement on that front. 6.4 to the lead. He did gain a bit for banging there, but McManus besides him making a mistake. He's got this one in the bag at this point. They just don't have the pace, Mangan and Walsh, to catch up. However, now that it's just these two, they've got 7.5 seconds to the car behind. Walsh can afford to be a bit more aggressive. He can afford to try to get track position now and not worry about the drivers behind. This is a good opportunity, and it looks like he might go for it.
Oh, Oisin Walsh versus Oscar Mangan down towards the blind crest. Oisin Walsh has been kind of biding his time for a little while here as they come through. Is he going to commit to this move? No, he backs out. He's just letting him know there, but they're not doing enough to catch McManus at this point. Brian McManus has led every single lap of this race and is on course for his first win in a long, long time. You can see they're only taking the 10th out. They need the second. They need 1.1 rather than 0.1. McManus is doing an excellent job so far. Lap 10 of 15 and sets the fastest lap of the race. So he's on a big charge right there. Brian McManus, he's not even in the toe of anybody. That's impressive. He's faster than the guys behind him, and he's proving that the lap 1 instance in the first race of the day was just a mishap. But Brian McManus has not won, I believe, since I think it was the minis at Mondello. I think it was the special event in Mondello, but hasn't won an actual official championship race as far as I can remember. Of course, he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this could be, he's on course for his first win in Digital Motorsports full stop, just as Jordan Kelly was as he comes through, but he's got another 5 laps to go. Mangan is 6.6 behind, so he still can't afford to make any mistakes because these guys will pick it up very quickly. But Mangan in second, Walsh third, Rob Barble still holding on in fourth. Keith Dempsey's dropped to 10th, and that's the lowest we've ever seen him, really, as they carry on their way. Peter McCann to fifth, Lawrence Oswald, Tony Stack, Michael Devaney, and Nicky Meredith, and Keith Dempsey. But now Walsh is going to try again. It was a mistake from Mangan on the exit, and is he just going to move over and let him through? I think he does. So Oisin Walsh slots into second place right now, and Mangan now going to just have a go in the draft, see what lap times they can do, because ideally you don't want to be the car behind on the back straight heading into the final lap if you're that close behind, because it can end very badly. But let's see if Oisin Walsh can build a gap now. He seems to have the pace over Mangan as they head through down the hill to begin lap 11 of 15. McManus is 7 seconds ahead of Mangan. He's about 6.5 ahead of Oisin Walsh, and 42.5 for McManus. Let's have a look at the lap time from Oisin Walsh. It'll be a 42.1, 42.8 from Mangan as he let him through, so definitely not enough. But certainly the battle we're going to keep watching is the battle between these two right here, Oisin Walsh and Oscar Mangan for second place. The battle for second. Rob Barble has no feet on this. This is a great battle between Lawrence Soswa and Peter McCann. They're going at it for a top 5 finish right here, which would be a great result for either of them as they head through now. McCann trying to find the space on the inside, just gets the door shutting them there on the exit. And these guys are going to fight it out. They can't afford to fight too much, though, because Tony Stack is 2.6 behind. He might be able to catch up to them. But a great little scrap for top 5. Great scrap for second. But I think at the moment, it's pretty clear who's going to win this race. Brian McManus.
Yeah, you would have not necessarily predicted that, even though he started from pole, of course. But his qualifying pace wasn't spectacular. I think it was about a second off the pace in qualifying. But this is kind of what he had hidden all the time. McCann just getting past De Soswa all the way for 6th and 7th. In fact, I think they've both been taken by... Oh, apologies, no, that's Meredith. Time back to the pit. Messing up our timing screens. Showing for Nicky Meredith once again. A DNF for him as here comes Mangan back past Walsh, who doesn't fight it. I think Mangan does have a slight pace advantage, but I think Walsh would quite happy to take the points. Remember, Mangan pretty much out of the championship with how crazy the race has been this season. I'm hesitant to say that because a run of racing and a couple of DNFs for Dempsey, and maybe he could come back into it. But Certainly at the moment, it looks like he's not in the battle, so he will be willing to throw caution to the wind, whereas Walsh still has a decent chance himself, so he'd want to consolidate this podium. 41.4, a second faster that time. Need too many laps late, to be fair. McManus actually just dropping off the pace recently. He's dropping back into the mid 42s after peaking in the 41s. So he knows that he's got this one all but in the bag and just backing off slightly, but this Mangan will get that fast up. I'm not sure if that's worth any bonus points, but if it is, it looks like they'll keep going his way.
So I don't think it is, unfortunately, for Mangan, so he's not going to have any points. Just the honour of that. But even with the terrible day for Keith Dempsey, I think he is definitely going to hold on to the championship lead. It'll be a nice gain for Oisin Walsh out of all this. There is Keith Dempsey in a very lowly 9th place as a car spins in front of him. Michael Devaney, who's having a really bad day at the office, and behind him, Rob Moore slots in front as well. Rob Moore is going to take second in the title now, actually. So essentially, Keith and Rob are championship rivals on track right now, even if the gap is quite large between them. It's about 40 points between them at the moment, and Keith has already outscored Rob in this race already. And again, we're going to have another swap position. Walsh is going to slot back in front again on the back straight, and I think if they're going to keep doing that every lap, then I wonder who's going to be quite close to the finish between these two. They're having a good old fight, not fighting each other on the straights. I tell you, the same thing is happening for P5, because the Soswell again slots in front of McCann as they fight for 5th place, top 5 finish, and their best result in the championship so far. Lap 13 of 15, 3 to go. Gap is 5.7 seconds to McManus. Oisin Walsh across the line. What does his lap time shape up? 1:42.0. It's half a second, so he needs. It's not going to be possible. He needs way more than a second a lap to catch up. He needs 2 seconds a lap to catch McManus. And what Mangan, having a little look on Walsh right now, starting to heat up just a tad in this final couple of stages of this race, final couple of laps. But these guys fighting it out for 2nd place as they continue on there. Don't forget as well, this is the Digital-Motorsports.com Indy Pro 2000 Cup, sponsored by Next Level Racing and supported by Driver 61 and by iRacing. Make sure to enter yourself into the giveaway for the 2 sim rigs, 2 Next Level Racing sim rigs. The link is in the chat if you're watching on the iRacing Esports Network. And if you're watching on Apex Racing TV, then check the description underneath the stream to get the giveaway link. Make sure to, of course, subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network and to Apex Racing TV to keep up to date with all the action from the Digital-Motorsports.com Indy Pro 2000 Cup. So, on to lap 13 of 15. Mangan falling just a tiny bit behind on the straight right here. He's probably not going to be able to make a move past Walsh on this lap, but I think he might be one to be the one behind Walsh on the final lap, because definitely it's going to get dicey between these two to the last couple of corners. On to lap 14, but Brian McManus on his way. Surprise victory. A long time coming, and a first championship win for him as well. It'll be one to remember for him, and I think, Sam, it's what we all want. He's keeping the winning streak of feature race winners alive.
It'd be pretty remarkable if we could have, I think it's 6 rounds this championship. We could have 6 out of 6 would be, mind-blowing. The unpredictability shows the level of competition in this series. It's one of the most competitive series I think we broadcast on Apex Racing TV and on the iRacing Esports Network, because everyone's just so evenly matched. Everyone does make a few mistakes, especially in this car. We've seen the drivers really struggle with the single-seaters. Actually, there's a great battle with De Soswell and McCann. I mean, to be fair, this is not that important. Of course, it's just track position, but they keep on coming back at one another. But of course, we've had the Audi RS3 a couple of seasons ago, and we had the GT4s last season. Everyone just seemed so apt in those. There was very few mistakes being made. We had pretty consistent finishes, and then we jump into these American circuits found in these single-seater cars, and all of a sudden it's a completely different ball game. We've seen plenty of errors from the drivers, but it's been a whole lot more entertaining than what we've seen in the past. And at the moment, McManus, as you say, gonna take another race victory as Marchenkovas comes out of the pits. He's still P11, still some points. Jason Cooper, unfortunately, back to the pit. Cooper's at a really good lap time a couple of moments ago. I saw he did a 42.0, which is matching the race leaders. However, soon after they seemed to maybe crash. So that's a shame for him. He'll drop down to 13th, and might get even a little bit worse for him as Shane Rabbit unlaps himself against him as well.
Here we go, final lap, and let's see who's going to resolve this one between Walsh and Mangan as they come across the line to begin the final lap. McManus is out in the lead by 4.9 seconds, and these guys have taken a good chunk out of him that time with 41.8 personal best for Shane Walsh, 41.7 for Mangan behind. They're lapping pretty quickly, but it's not enough at the moment to catch McManus unless there's a catastrophic error from our race leader that he's going to secure that win. But the battle for second is certainly not over. They're fighting for the second spot on the podium, but they're pretty secure in their podium slots anyway. They're 15 seconds ahead of fourth place Rob Barble, who's on for his best result. And of course, we're going to keep an eye on that battle for fifth as well, because those guys are fighting for their best finish as well, McCann and De Soswa. But now, heading on to up through the S's on the uphill section into the hairpin, Mangan is right on the back of Oisin Walsh, almost touching him as he entered up through the S's, and just backed out of it at the right moment to not send Oisin Walsh to a spin. Needs the run out of this corner, and surely he's right behind him. If he was this close behind Dempsey last time, he surely would have got him. But now it's the final opportunity for Mangan to make his way through to get onto the second spot on the podium. Moves to the inside. There's not a whole lot that Oisin Walsh can do about this as he comes side by side now, heading up to the braking zone for the blind crest. Mangan is a touch ahead. Walsh is going to fight it though as he heads round the outside, side by side into the blind crest. Walsh holds the inside. Mangan trying to hang around the outside. He's not quite close enough to the last corner though. Brian McManus, how long has he been waiting for a win? He comes to the line and keeps the streak alive. Brian McManus is a winner in Digital Motorsports at last, and to the line between Walsh and Mangan, very close. Who's going to get it side by side? Walsh by the closest margin, 0.06 across the line. Walsh gets it, and the battle between McCann and De Soswa is also going to go to the line. Rob Barble gets a fantastic fourth place as well. We're going to keep an eye on this one though. McCann versus De Soswa, they're in their best finishing positions anyway, but now this is going to be very close. De Soswa going to try for it as they come to the line. He's going to try and find the space side by side of the line. McCann might just have this by just the smallest margin as they head down towards the finish line. McCann just pips De Soswa, blocked off the entry on the inside line very nicely. McCann fifth, De Soswa in sixth, Pony Stack seventh, and a very rare but surprising sight, Keith Dempsey in eighth, Rob Moore ninth, and Michael Devaney will finish in 10th place. But it's a day to remember for Brian McManus because he's been a long time waiting for that elusive win. Jordan Kelly got it earlier in the year, and finally McManus has also got it as well. So it's been a great championship so far, Sam, for guys who haven't won at all and suddenly securing their first wins.
It was the perfect storm, wasn't it? I mean, he had that retirement in race one, turned out to be a silver lining because, yeah, got that pole position for race one. The couple of drivers behind him kind of had incidents in the first few laps, the other quick drivers near him. And then, of course, Mangan and Dempsey starting from 14th and 15th, pretty much the first that they could do, and they had so much to work to do. However, it's shocking how McManus hasn't won a race for. I think I've seen him get a multitude of podiums in the past. I think that's probably the first of many. He will be looking for a couple more, I reckon, in the closing stages of the season.
Here's your official race results. Brian McManus for VRA Racing finally on the top step after a long drought. Oisin Walsh by 0.05 of a second just keeps Oscar Mangan behind him. Rob Barble gets a great fourth place. Peter McCann as well with a very close finish between himself and Lawrence Oswald. They had a fantastic battle. Well done to those guys. Tony Stack in seventh. Rob Moore in eighth place, and Keith Dempsey in ninth. Valentinas Marchenkovic, Arias Diamantes, Michael Devaney, Jason Cooper, Shane Rabbit, and then a slew of non-finishes. Nicky Meredith, Richard Faulkner, Jordan Kelly, unfortunately, a non-finish. Dave Maguire, a non-finish. And Dara Daly, a non-starter in this one. But another fantastic race to add to the tally, and another new winner that we can add to the roster. It's Brian McManus to add to the list. So it's been Jordan Kelly, it's been Keith Dempsey, of course, and now today it's been Brian McManus. And of course, as well, I believe we're also going to hear from a few of the Pro-Am drivers. Of course, this is the Pro tier. so there's two tiers, the Pro tier and the Pro-Am, which was also going on at the time. So we might be hearing from those guys, but I think we would all want to be hearing from our race winner in the Pro series, if we can possibly grab him. But Virginia, Sam, did not disappoint. Technical track, plenty of mistakes, but actually quite a lot of finishers, surprisingly.
Yeah, there's some runoff around this space, like we were talking before. So you don't expect too many kind of wheels to fall off the cars, and maybe that was slightly evident in the feature race. Of course, Dempsey, despite his spin, managing to get that car to the line. But yeah, still a slightly higher attrition rate than what we usually see, and yeah, a couple more rounds to go. I think that was the circuit though that the drivers will be most concerned about going. I mean, we have Phoenix earlier on in the season. We've now had Virginia. I think compared to that, anywhere else looks pretty easy for these guys. So should be a bit more comfortable towards the end of the season.
Yeah, so I think we might be able to grab a quick word with our second place finisher, Oisin Walsh. We're just going to grab him in for a quick word. Oisin, welcome to the commentary box once again. Very, very close finish at the end right there between yourself and Oscar Mann. You guys had a great fight, but congratulations on the second. Must be delighted.
How are you?
Yeah, after blowing the start in race one, really, it was kind of handy to pull back. I was hoping I could catch back up to Oscar and Keith in the first race, or that they'd have some incident or something that would just benefit me. But that didn't happen, and I drove pretty terribly, really.
I'm speaking here, but I can turn down my stream.
You're alright,
just in case.
As usual, it was going to be sketchy, it was. And then I let Keith through in the back straight in lap one, and then just followed him through. Eventually I let Oscar through, and then I was basically going to sit behind those two, and kind of expected to get pulled through the field with them.
Afterwards, laughing about.
A couple more contacts than I expected between them or cars in front or whatever, but I didn't get caught up in anything, so I'm not going to complain. It would have been nice to get Brian. I don't know if we could. I don't know even if we hadn't had a few kerfuffles, if there would have been enough time if we were quick enough, but it would have been nicer to get a better try. But I'm not gonna complain at second, although I would like better.
How hard was it to keep yourself controlled in the slipstream train? Because obviously the draft is extremely effective down the back straight. You're involved in that slipstream train for many, many laps behind Keith and Oscar. How hard was it to just keep yourself controlled and keep yourself back to avoid silly incidents?
I was just kind of sitting. You kind of just end up being about 0.4, 0.5 back, and it tends to be harder if you're not second in line to get right up to the bumper of whoever's in front. So it's not really that bad. I'd like if I could drop back further, but obviously if I was the second back and still getting slipstream, I'd probably be here complaining about that instead. So it was just kind of hoping that I didn't get caught in it, and just basically being ready for it. Whenever they went side by side, just brake a bit early, and hope they don't hit each other, or do, but just don't hit me.
Lastly, Oisin, Watkins Glen coming up next. Obviously, I think it's a track that a lot of drivers are familiar with, so are you confident heading to that one?
I mean, I'd say I'll be just about the same on pace as I usually am. Maybe like a tenth or two off, but that's always enough to stick with it, with the slipstream. So hopefully I'll be in the fight. I'd like to think I'll have the pace to be in the fight for the win. It's just a matter of not making mistakes and not getting caught up in that.
Oisin Walsh, thanks a million for joining us. Great race today, and we'll see you in Watkins Glen.
All right, thanks.
So I believe we actually have a mountain of drivers waiting for us, and we don't exactly know who to pick. So Sam, it's obviously your interview next. So I think you get the pick of the bunch. Who do you want?
I think I'll have a chat with Keith Dempsey, because he did manage to take the race 1 victory and then 9th place in race 2. Congratulations, Keith, on that race 1 win. Awesome qualifying, great start, but looked like Oscar was pushing you pretty hard near the end.
Yeah, a bit unlucky there in race 2. Had a good start. Only had a great start initially, but it probably helped me down to the first corner because it all got a bit tight down there. So got through the first lap and then started picking them off and had good pace. And then Oscar and them and Oisin followed me through, and looking forward to having a bit of a dice with the lads, to be honest. And then it all went a bit tits up there at the top of the hill. So yeah, a bit unfortunate, but that's racing, I suppose. nothing I can do about it. I had the pace to probably finish second, maybe. I don't think I could have got Brian. Brian was flying at the front and had a good gap, so would have been happy enough with a second or third, but these things happen.
We saw you go for a mega move on lap 1 in race 2. I think it was through the S's section. Seemed to have more car off the circuit than he did on the circuit. It was a spectacular overtake. Were you thinking about the championship at all there? Because you seemed to be kind of throwing caution to the wind. You weren't leaving anything on the table. It looked like. Were you thinking about like the points game, or were you just thinking?
No, to be honest, I'm not really pushed on the championship. The only reason I do this is to have a bit of fun with my friends and have some racing. And yeah, I wasn't really thinking. I just enjoy the reverse grid races. I like the challenge of coming through the field, and I enjoy the kind of strategy and stuff about it. So no, I wasn't really thinking about the championship, but it was close. I think it was Tony Stack coming through the S's. I thought he'd seen me, and then I thought he didn't see me, and that's when I went for the grass and thought it was the safest thing for both of us. So no, I enjoyed it, but sure, disappointed obviously race 2, but yeah, not the end of the world.
This circuit divides opinion a lot. Some people love it, some people despise it. What's your opinion of the circuit in this car?
Yeah, I really like it actually. It kind of, I think it generates some good racing because you've got 2 pretty long straights which you can get a good toe, and then the setup is pretty high downforce, so it's good in the middle sector, and then with the high downforce down the straights you can gain a good bit of a toe. So that's kind of why you might have a couple of tenths on people in qualifying and have a bit of a gap, but then in the race, once they're in the toe behind you, they can hang on and get you on the straights. So it leads to good racing usually, but didn't have a good race the second race, but sure, not the end of the world.
No, absolutely not. Congratulations on your race 1 victory. Keith, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
No, thanks to all the lads in Turn 3 Motorsport, all working hard, having a bit of fun together and enjoying our racing. So yeah, thanks very much, and the lads at Apex and stuff doing a great job, yourself and Jack, so thanks very much.
Awesome, thank you very much, Keith, and see you back next week, or 2 weeks time. So
thanks.
Right, so we've got time for one more, we think, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to grab a quick word with Lawrence de Soswell, because we know how happy he's going to be. Lawrence, what a race from you. Welcome to the interview box. I know we're probably live on stream with you at the moment as well, but you and Peter, my God, what a fight that was. You must be delighted with the top 10.
That was sensational. Yeah, top 10 was my goal. I was actually even talking to Niall earlier. I said top 10 in the pro class because the standard is high and it's getting better and better. People are getting used to the car and all that. I know Peter quite a while now. Since I started my YouTube channel back in August last year, Peter has been a massive supporter of the channel. Both, going on the streams, adminning for me, doing me favors and stuff like that. So when he first started approaching me and he had pace on me, I said, and I even said on my stream, I said, look, he's a good guy. I'm going to let him pass. But if I catch him again, it's no holds barred. And I don't even know. I think we swapped position like at least 6 times. But at times it was twice a lap. It was nuts.
Yeah, it definitely looked like they're coming to the line anyways. But yeah, it's tough competition out there in the pro class. Now, obviously, you're streaming at the same time. So how hard is it as well? You've got to keep your eye on the chat. You've got to keep your eye on the racing. How hard is it to balance that all at the same time?
It's tough, and you know what? Getting the balance right is really difficult. I didn't get it right at Laguna Seca. I made a lot of stupid mistakes, and I had some incidents that I'm just not very proud of. The reason being, I wanted to prove myself in a pro class. The lads were 2 seconds a lap quicker than me, and I couldn't match their pace. I was overdriving the car. I was trying to impress people on the stream, and it just didn't work out. I got like P14, which isn't a bad result on paper, but it was a terrible race for me. So this week, I concentrated on really just getting that consistency down. I've done this track loads in Assetto Corsa. I'm relatively new to iRacing. So consistency was key for me. I could see even when we were doing practice racing, I was the practice races over the last couple of days, I was positioning, I was getting 4th place, 3rd place in 10 people grids. So I knew I had decent race pace. So that's what I was banking on. I had a poor qualifying session though, so I qualified P18 and finished P10 in the first race. So it was tough starting from P6 with all the fast boys behind me.
Well, Lawrence, you did a fantastic job today. Is there anyone you'd like to give a quick thank you to before we let you go?
Yeah, massive shout out to my sponsors, Cube Controls. Digital-Motorsports.com have been massive supporters of mine as well. And Cork Credit Unions as well our stream sponsors, and of course everybody who's a member and a supporter of my channel, who financially backs the channel and gets me to, you know, do things like this, where I can afford to get a livery done professionally, where I can afford to, you know, pay entry fees and buy the nice equipment and all that kind of stuff. So a huge shout out to my community especially.
Well, Lawrence, fantastic job today. We really enjoyed that on stream, and hopefully we'll see you back in here shortly next week.
Thanks a million, Jack. Great job.
So that's unfortunately all we have time, because we've run over time. We've had plenty. This is a rare week, Sam. We've had loads of drivers wanted to talk to us, which is a rarity. But yeah, it's been fantastic racing here today at Virginia International Raceway. Never a track that disappoints. We are back for Watkins Glen, I believe, on the 5th of August, if I'm not wrong. It could be next week or in 2 weeks' time. I'll have to double check that. But the next track will be Watkins Glen, and it'll be round 5 of the championship. So it's been fantastic, and we hope that you'll join us then. Thanks a million as well to Sam Fitzpatrick, as always, for joining me in the commentary box, and for Samily for bringing us those fantastic shots of 2 cars merging down the hill. So it's been fantastic. We hope you'll join us again in the next round in Watkins Glen at the exact same time, live on Apex Racing TV and live on the iRacing Esports Network at the exact same time. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you then. Thank you, and good night.
Are you itching to get racing? Whether it's circuit racing, drifting, rallying, or even karting, here at Digital-Motorsports.com we run some of the best online leagues in the world. To get involved, visit our website at Digital-Motorsports.com and enroll for our next event.